Have you ever wondered why you're still single? Not just by choice, but by design. Have you ever felt used by someone you loved, only to realize you were never truly seen? Have you ever asked yourself, why does it seem like I give everything, but get nothing back? If you're a man who's been single for a long time, this isn't a punishment, it's preparation. Because the longer a man is single, the more dangerous he becomes. Not dangerous in the way the world fears, dangerous in the way the world needs. And today, you're going to understand why. By the end of this video, you won't just know why you're single. You'll understand how to use it as your greatest weapon. You'll learn how to stop being used, how to spot fake love, how to identify a real loyal partner before it's too late, and how to rebuild yourself and into a man no one can break. So stay with me. This might be the most important video you ever watch. 1. The world doesn't understand men who walk alone. I have a serious question for you. Is there a specific moment in your life when you fell deeply in love, not a crush, rather than a lure? What I mean is love that goes deep into one's soul. You know the sort I'm talking about. The sort that when you're feeling like you're about to pass out, even just one message might bring you hope. That sensation is something you'll never forget. You felt seen by her. Thanks, got it. Staying alive. A shift occurred though. First, she stopped calling. Notification rates dropped. According to her, she wanted space or perhaps she remained silent. After that, she vanished. Yet here you were, still bewildered. Was it me? Was I not enough? Look at you now, all by yourself. It may have been months, years perhaps. Yes, you have dated other individuals, but none of them have been truly genuine. Subtly, you become aware of the sound of whispering from society, greetings from acquaintances, among relatives. Will you still be unattached? Please tell me what's wrong. Maybe you have some unrealistic expectations. Listen, I'll spill the beans on something nobody else will. Rest assured, you are perfectly fine. No, you are not damaged. Awakening, you are. Men who venture out on their own aren't meaningless. They are changing. The world is at a loss as to how to handle guys who have emerged from the crowd. The ones who have quit pursuing, begging, or settling. Eventually, a guy learns to appreciate being alone. In quiet, he gets things clear. Inner fortitude. Above all else, he ceases seeking a partner to round out his identity. Simply put, he is concerned with finishing himself. The risky aspect, though, is this. As he continues to stroll alone, increasingly he becomes aware of everything. He begins to see trends, sorting out the real from the pretenders, the people taking advantage of him, and the ones who genuinely care. He begins to reject love that is shallow, the sort that accompanies deadlines, specific requirements, and unspoken anticipations. He goes out of style. Do you know what the most common fear is? What they can't control. The loneliness trap and how it's used against you. I have another question for you. Imagine this. You're alone in your room, flipping through old texts, receiving I love you texts from a person who has completely forgotten about you. Can you ever bring yourself to relive the final battle, looking for the mistakes you made? Your self-blame persists. Maybe she would still be here if you were stronger, more attractive, or otherwise better. However, I will tell you something honest and unfiltered. She remained with you. She couldn't hold on to a man who could have provided her with all she ever wanted. However, nobody informs you of that. Move on is what they say instead. Clubs, apps, and pointless flings are the things they try to steer you toward. A distraction from the agony if you must. The reason being that males with strong emotions are feared by society. It is their goal to make you feel emotionally distant. They are manipulating you to appear weak. They hope you'll continue to provide, prove, and perform inside the system. Heal up, please. They're against it. Due to the fact that once you do, you become impervious. And the ugly reality is this. On occasion, the ones you held in the highest regard, I took advantage of you, utilized your generosity, putting you to good use, make use of your allegiance. And after that, what happened? After that, they departed. No resolution. I don't understand. Absolute stillness, and the emptiness consumes you. Your shared laughter comes to mind, your booked vacations. At 2 a.m, she murmured the words forever into your ear. Even your recollections seem like fabrications today. Then tell me, you decline to speak. No one will ever marry you. While you focus on becoming better, it seems like everyone else is already moving on. Plus you're in a jam. I beg you, but you are not confined. You are changing. The agony you're experiencing? This is not a prison. It's a casing. The world is surprised by what you're becoming. Despite his emotions, he continues to rise, an enduring figure of love who continues to forge forth, because in due time she will come to terms with what she has lost. It will be too late by then. Pleasant rather than sour. New life. To the Stoic man is forged in silence. What about I ask you something serious? How did you feel immediately following her departure? That oppressive quiet? It was so loud that it masked your own breathing. Your bed seemed more spacious, but less full. You anxiously waited for your phone to ring, hoping to hear her name. However, such was never the case. The outer world continued as if nothing had occurred, yet a battlefield swarmed inside your chest. You attempted to divert your attention. Health club. Doing work. Games. You shared a chuckle with your pals, but the mirth never made it to your own eyes. You choose to remain silent despite the cacophony around you. What you didn't know at the time, though, is this. That stillness? You were not punished for that. You forged it. Like how steel can't transform into a blade without heat. To become unbeatable, a guy requires quiet. One of the most influential Stoic thinkers of all time, Marcus Aurelius. He was bereft of his spouse, forgot his offspring, failed conflicts, friend losses, except he was always himself. Why? Reason being, he grasped an idea that the majority of contemporary males have lost. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. You have no say over who quits. Who lies is beyond your control. The level of pain is completely out of your hands. However, you have agency for your own transformation as a result. No, you are not damaged. It is being reshaped you. Because the one who is able to remain silent, who can continue forward when they sense the tempest brewing inside their chest, turns into a somebody who is unmanageable by women. Nothing can demolish. Never let treachery define you. That quietness you despised, do not fear it. It is your guide. You learn the importance of things. This is what's important. Loving was never lost on you, and someone who was unable to manage your depth has left you. It is time to meet your capable self now. Time alone isn't empty. It's transformational. Let's delve even farther. Can you remember a time when you were so alone that you began to have conversations with yourself? Not aloud, but mentally. Was I the one causing this? You wonder. Did she ever truly care for me? What if I am never able to meet anybody similar? Every memory plays back to you like a tape that won't stop. The expression on her face as she welcomed your arrival. It seemed as if her hand was tailor-made for yours. Interminable late-night chatter. Right now, it's all just a dream. Where do you stand? Time is all that remains to you. However, I will tell you the unpopular truth. Being alone doesn't feel lonely. Everything about it is holy. Considering that it has been a long time since, no one is expecting you to make an impression. There's no need to ask someone to remain. Being enough is not a reason for you to diminish who you are. All you are is you. It does hurt, though. Progress is constant. However, while you recline in solitude in your chamber, as I scroll through the photo album, refraining from sobbing when your music accidentally plays, a part of you is subtly getting back together. You've improved your reasoning. New limits are being established by you. What you really desire rather than what you were led to believe is becoming clear to you. You're becoming more picky. Quit wasting your time on those who don't appreciate you. Stop equating being noticed with being loved. Stop letting those who were just interested in you for a short while have your heart. And gradually, the guy you've always yearned for finally starts to take shape inside of you. Solitude, you see, is not the same as loneliness. A mirror, that is. Plus, you may see your own value reflected in that mirror. This is value that doesn't need begging, avoids pursuing. Not need validation. Now for the most exciting part. When the appropriate individual shows up, as they always do, avoid using them. You'll get to pick them, not out of nothingness but rather plenty. Simply said, a guy who has experienced alone, this guy has found the most perilous truth of all. He was never lonely and never sought out a soulmate. Already he had been healed. 5. He learns to see through illusions. The masks fall off. I have a question for you. Recall that one evening. This is it, was your thought as you gazed into her eyes. Oh, this will last a lifetime. She had your faith. Every phrase was believed by you. I love you after every, no one else is like you. Every assurance. However, in retrospect, can you feel any pain? No, it's not because she departed. However, you have come to see that she was never really who you believed her to be. You may be hurt by more than simply heartbreak. It's the deception of deceit. Her affection for you was more than that. The very thought of her captivated you. But this is what a guy learns from time alone. The reality behind the grins begins to reveal itself to you. You observe the contests, the control, the scapegoating. Her deft use of wording made you feel like the bad guy just by being human and showing emotion. How she would playfully approach other people, only to label you as insecure when you caught on to her advances. Tell me the truth. Just how many times have you allowed yourself to forgive wrongdoing? How many times did you repress your natural desires in order to hold on to her? Give that some thought, because let me tell you something. When a man quits pursuing and instead spends time alone, he regains his eyesight. People start to appear different to him, but in their true selves. All of a sudden, the warning signs he had run past, just like caution signs, they're glowing. No, she wasn't perfect. An example she was. A harsh, essential, and devastating lesson. And when you notice that, you can't take your eyes off of that. What is real? You thrived when she caused you pain. Your awakening was necessitated by that treachery. Reason being, you will never again give in to superficial displays of love. Attention is not the same as commitment from now on. Since you are seeking personality, you will no longer be swayed by physical attractiveness. You're looking for more than simply a companion now. You're constructing a radar, a filter, something to protect. Finding someone to lay close to isn't enough. Someone who is honest with you is what you need. When it happens, your true strength will manifest. Since surviving deceit is possible after being misled once, a man who can see through facades is what you become. Someone who pays attention to patterns as well as words, to energy, in response to measures, and in the view of a man who has been shattered and then put himself back together. No mask can last. 6. He no longer begs for love, he attracts it. We may delve much further now. How often have you pleaded with a person to love you? It might not be via words, but what about your deeds? You were brilliant. Pleasant surprises. Things said, calls, gifts, give and take. Even once she lost interest. You still got breadcrumbs from her though. Your presence was felt. Why? Since you were afraid of her leaving you. Desperate to begin anew. Anxious of being by myself. You took less than you were due, even if you were sure it was love. However, nobody ever tells you this. You don't have to beg to be loved. As soon as a man goes for a long enough stroll alone, after he endures his suffering for an extended period, when he stays silently upset yet manages to get back up the next day, he feels a sudden release of tension. It dawns on him. He is not required to pursue. No proof is required of him. He is free to insist on his demands. Someone who is unable to love oneself has no business loving him, because right now, he has found self-love like she never imagined possible. Better clothing is something you do for yourself, not for other people. You go to the gym to regain your strength, not to win her over. A lesson is imparted. You develop, stand up, and gradually, soon others take note. Women perceive you in a different light. Something is nagging at them. Energy, power, stillness. You are no longer in a state of desperation. You have self-control. And romance? You begin to attract love. The sort that doesn't engage in pranks. This kind does not require continual persuasion. However, the kind that states, "There are wounds on your body. Your past is not hidden from me. You remain the one I chose. However, there is a catch. Here you will not compromise. Go at your own pace. Prior to trusting someone, you will test their hearts. Why? Because after you've pleaded for love and been rejected, if someone disturbs your tranquility, you learn to just walk away. That is when you no longer are someone's option, my brother. Furthermore, begin to establish yourself as the norm. 7. He realizes she was never the one he was. Allow me to inquire about anything intimate. Can you recall the initial moment you informed yourself? She's the one. Did her laughter play a role? The public manner in which she gripped your hand? That time vanished during those late-night conversations? She got at everything from you. Pay close attention, please. An individual's emotional core. Devotion to me. The path you'll take to the future. Continuity was your belief. You saw her entering the ceremony while adorned with your surname. You imagined spending your golden years at her side. But right now, well, she's definitely off. Perhaps she departed without announcement. Perhaps her love felt more like a distant memory as she gradually drifted away. Perhaps she took your position. While you were still giving her, your whole attention and love. You are now expected to remain silent, glancing at the photographs she had taken in the past, rereading the notes that say, "I love you." Those messages that used to be your lifeblood now stab you in the chest, and you can't shake the question, why wasn't I enough? Well, my dear sibling, you were sufficient every time. You were attempting to pour mountains of water into a person's life who could only handle pools of water. It wasn't her. You had to meet yourself, and she was just the one who made it happen. For the simple reason that this is the unspoken truth. You were the one you had been looking for the whole time. I don't mean that selfishly. By no means alone. However, in the most profound and stoic sense, whether he's enduring heartache, betrayal, or desertion, a guy who travels alone can't merely stay alive. He changes. He now sees that he was never lacking anything. Just the wrong individuals were receiving his peace. Consider those who made a profound impact on history, such as Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. There was no one to provide them with affection and solace. Betrayal, exile, and loss around them. However, that discomfort, for them it was the driving force, their knowledge. When they awoke, their pain wasn't the end and neither was yours. That was when it all started. Since you are now aware, you may be worthy without pursuing another person. To feel loved, you do not require validation. To feel noticed, you are not need to beg. Your narrative revolves around you. All three, the bedrock, the spark, and the fire, are you. And suddenly, when it's least expected, some people will appreciate you for more than just what you can provide them. As a person, though, you will be prepared. You weren't waiting for that reason. On the other hand, you were constructing. Put an end to wondering, why did she leave? Do you ever wonder why you ever thought you needed another person to be whole? Simply said, the lone guy. This individual is the one who finds his true self at last. That he never found assistance in locating from a female. There was more to it than that. Remembering who you are was a journey you were on. Finally, you're beginning to wake up. Reality check, you're not broken, you're awakening. Inevitably, any man who has remained unattached for an extended period of time hears this urban legend. You seem to be suffering from some sort of illness. That, however, is not accurate. Honestly, it's one among you is beginning to awaken. Real love is beginning to shine through for you. By means of manipulation, by falling into the social trap that says being chosen is the key to your worth. However, being selected is not necessary. Picking oneself is all that's required. Final message, make them feel seen. To the males who are now seeing this, have you ever lain there in bed looking up at the ceiling and thought, what the hey? There is no issue with you. You just refuse to be used anymore. The idea of being a character in someone else's narrative no longer appeals to you when you have rarely written anything original. Now you're the one writing it. Carefully craft it. If this video moved you profoundly, if you thought I was addressing you specifically, reason being I was. I used to be you. Used, defeated in person, on the left behind, then revived, more powerful than before. And if you're looking for further films that touch your spirit, beyond the confines of your screen, the next step is join now. And not only on the channel. Moving on, though, to your fresh start. Since the guy you're becoming into needs to hear that he was unbreakable, in time he became impervious to harm. All eyes are on you now. And that for watching.